Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of my new series of what I am calling Pet Owner Redemption Rehab. So if you watched my last video, I explained just a little bit of background of what this concept is and why I'm doing it, but the gist is I realized that I was not being a good owner to my cat, and I have had to confront that and figure out ways that work for both her and me to make her life better. And in this journey of making her life better, and I'm not done yet, but in this journey, I have realized that a lot of people are really defensive about their pet care, and they are really resistant to listen to new advice, especially if they've had pets for a while or had their pet for a while. They think it's an attack on them for them to realize that they have been doing something wrong. And so I am destigmatizing, or I'm on a mission to destigmatize this guilt that pet owners have, and this resistance that pet owners have to change. And remember, it is not okay to be a bad pet owner, but it is okay to realize that you are being a bad pet owner and to do better. And remember, better does not mean perfect, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. So the subject of today's video is I have a list here of 6 mindset changes that will make you a better pet owner. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about cats in some of these because that's what I have. But, these points are also applicable to all kinds of animals. So, my first mindset change is platinum rule over golden rule. So, golden rule is this concept we learn usually in kindergarten to treat others how you would like to be treated yourself. And this is a good place to start with learning to respect people's needs and boundaries, because a lot of times other people, or in this case, other animals, do have similar needs and boundaries to us, but we can't stop there, right? Because no two people, no two animals, no two pairs of owners and pets are exactly the same. So we have to go beyond the golden rule and go to the platinum rule eventually, which is to treat others how they want to be treated. And so doing what you think your pet would like is a good start, the golden rule. Okay, well, I like to eat out of a clean bowl, so my cat or my dog probably wants to eat out of a clean bowl. Good rule of thumb, right? And we can do that with a lot of things. But again, don't stop there. We got to figure out what the animal wants beyond those needs. So a good place to start is doing research on cats or whatever pet you have, and specifically their behavior. And a lot of times their behavior can be indicative of whether or not they like something or dislike it. And this could be, maybe you buy fancy, expensive, pretty toys for your cat because, this is a really cool toy. I would love this if I was a cat. But at the end of the day, your cat might just like playing in boxes, right? We all have had the experience, if you're a cat owner, that, you buy something really nice for your cat and then they just play with like a straw or a receipt or something that's trash to us instead. Or maybe you're trying different foods with them and you give them one food that, oh my God, this smells disgusting. How could they even eat this? But maybe your cat will like that one better than the one that you think looks gourmet. Now, do not mistake this for doing whatever they want. People use this excuse a lot to make poor decisions for their animals, especially with cats. It is the reason so many people still have outdoor cats because, they want to go outside, or, they want to eat my McDonald's, or, they want to extra treats. And while it's okay to indulge in some of these needs in safe and healthy ways sometimes, at the end of the day, your cats or your pet's health and their safety is the top priority. And you are responsible for that pet, and you need to make the best decisions for them. But, you can also do that in a way that incorporates their wants and needs. A great example of this principle is, and this seems oddly specific, but I see so many people do it, and I've done this in the past, getting really into holidays with your animals. I think we think this shows them that we love them, because as humans, we really care about holidays and birthdays and special occasions. We love doing holiday activities with our pets, maybe dressing them up for Halloween, giving them an advent calendar for Christmas. One time, and I would not do this again, I'm going to talk about why. One time I took my cat to meet Santa Claus, or stuff like that. And if you want to do a little bit of a themed activity with your cat, like, oh, I got you a couple new toys, they're Easter themed, or, here's a special treat just for this once because it's your gotcha day. I think that's fine. But the truth is, a lot of these themed holiday activities, your pet, probably doesn't care about them, unless they're getting extra food or love. And in some cases, they probably really dislike these things you're doing. Dressing them up is a great example. Everyone loves dressing up their animals, and some animals tolerate it better than others, but I don't think any animal, besides a few, really enjoy dressing up. And I mentioned before that, one year I brought my cat to, it was like PetSmart or something, to meet Santa Claus. And she was, I don't take her out of the house that much, and that's another thing I'm trying to change. I want her to be comfortable leaving the house, for emergencies, for vet visits, or if she gets comfortable enough, maybe I can take her on a little day out somewhere, if that's something she would actually enjoy. But in that moment, I was doing that for myself. I wasn't doing that for my pet. And it's unnecessary. The next, number 2, mindset change that you can make is being wrong about something isn't failure. It is your opportunity to do better. So, admitting that you haven't been doing the best for your pet is a hard thing to admit. It's a hard thing to confront, emotionally, even publicly, but it is the first step to doing better. And so it's important to remember when you're doing that actually being gracious with yourself is the path of least resistance, and the way that you are going to actually enact positive change permanently in yours and your pet's lifestyles. Forgiving yourself is a vital step in changing your ways. Realizing I haven't been feeding my cat the right food, or the best food for their health. That's a hard thing to admit, because that's a huge part of their lives. This is a change I've recently made. I massively upgraded my cat's food. Instead of, once you realize that you need to make that change, I think a lot of us want to beat ourselves up over it. And that's where we start getting defensive and start saying, well, she likes the food, and, she's happy and healthy. And so what's the problem? And I don't think it's because we're unwilling to upgrade our pet's food most of the time. I think it's because we're unwilling to admit that, we did something wrong for them. So forgiving yourself is how you are going to be able to move forward and actually, do the right thing for them. Number 3 I have on this list is a bit of an interesting one, but bear with me. And I'm, again, speaking from the perspective of cats, but you can apply this across the board. So, a mistake I made: don't just love your cat. Love all cats. And this is especially important for people like me who have only one cat, because you become so obsessed and so in love with this cat, and it really feels like your child, and you get trapped in this mindset of, well, I love this cat so much that I know them so well. and, and they love me. And so I must be doing all the right things for them because of how much they love me. And it's probably true that you love your cat or your pet very much. And it's probably true that they love you very much back. But it's not enough. And it sucks, but that is the case. We got to do better. So being exclusively in love with your cat is actually often blinding you from the ways that you may be neglecting them. And what I mean by that is, so for example, I thought that my cat, Andy, I've had her for next Friday. It'll be 4 years of us together. And I thought for a long time, and I genuinely thought this was the right thing, that I would never get another cat while I had her. And I thought this for a couple of reasons. The main and most responsible reason is that I thought Andy would not enjoy being around another cat. There's been a couple cases where I've pet a stray cat and then I walk in to the house and she hisses at me. She doesn't like the smell. And also I had this silly, immature idea of like, oh, well, I could never love another cat as much as I love her, so I might as well not even try, which is ridiculous. We love our pets no matter what, even if it's difficult at first. Andy was difficult at first, but, we grow to be true companions. So I had this idea that, oh, I know her well enough. I know that she would not like being around another cat. But this is where the part about loving all cats comes in. Because while your cat may have specific behaviors and specific personality traits, as all cats do, there are also things that are mostly true for most cats. And upon doing research recently, I learned that the reason why my cat hisses when she smells another cat on me is because there is no proper introduction being done between those cats, and I'm bringing another scent into her space and it's making her territorial. And in fact, having multiple cats is very enriching and good for cats. And there's you just have to be careful with the introductions. That's the hardest part. But there is a right way to do it, so that they, love each other and have a good time together. And so I am planning on sometime in the next year, getting another cat, both for my cat and for that cat. So that future cat of mine. And I wrote down here that loving your cat and knowing their specific personality trait is an important part of enriching their life. But when you broaden your view to cats in general, you become open to actually learning evidence-backed cat advice instead of relying on your own gut feeling. And sometimes we don't know our pets as well as we think we do, right? Just like me with Andy. I thought, oh, she would never want to be around another cat. And granted, I haven't got the other cat yet. I'm not doing it yet, so maybe it will be a disaster, but the evidence shows it will probably be very good for her. And as long as I do it in the right way, it'll probably be fine. Number 4, controversial one, but one that I had to really confront with myself. Can you not afford it? Or are you just not prioritizing it? Now, let me clarify here. Some people genuinely cannot afford high quality pet care, whether that be the regular vet visits or, expensive food, expensive litter, fancy toys, whatever it may be. There are people in situations that they genuinely cannot afford that, or maybe they could at one point and they can't anymore, or the opposite, whatever it may be. I'm not talking about those people, but I think a lot of us think we are those people when we're actually not. And I am guilty of that because let's say you have a budget for each month and, you have space out, okay, spend this much on these things. And at the end of every paycheck, you have nothing left. So you may think, okay, I can't, upgrade my cat's food because I am already buying her food and I have nothing left at the end of my paycheck. So how could I possibly afford to upgrade her food? The trick is, there may be something else that you're doing, usually for yourself, that you're overspending on. And you can actually adjust your budget so that you can prioritize the needs of your pet. And this doesn't have to be anything crazy. I massively upgraded Andy's food. I went from spending $30 on her food a month to now just about 100. So I made a huge change. But the way I was able to do that was I looked at what I spend on my own food, and I realized, obviously groceries are incredibly important, and I'm not going to sacrifice, getting groceries. But I was door dashing a lot. And I was spending a lot more than $100 a month on door dashing. And most of that was going on my credit card, which is even more. Do not put DoorDash on your credit card. That's a terrible financial decision, but that's a discussion for another day. So what I decided to do so that I could afford her new expensive food was, okay, I'm going to completely cut out door dashing. Not cutting out takeout necessarily, although I am eating at home a lot more now that I can't make the food magically appear at my door. But cutting out those extra fees and stuff. And I canceled my Uber One account, and I actually deleted the DoorDash app yesterday. So it's going pretty well so far. And I'm actually, even though I'm spending so much more on her food, I'm saving money overall because I made that sacrifice. Number 5, find what works for you and your cat. Okay, not just one or the other. So what I mean by that is, don't be ashamed to create accommodations that meets both yours and your cat's needs and meets them in the middle, right? So a good example for this is one of the poor behaviors I was subjecting my cat to before was I was not good about cleaning the litter box, which is really sad and really horrible of me. And I knew that was really sad and really horrible of me. So what I did for years was beat myself up over it. And oh my God, I gotta get my shit together. I've got to clean her litter box more often. I've got to do it daily. This is really, I know it's really negatively impacting her quality of life. And should that have made me change? Absolutely. You know what? It didn't though. I just continued to beat myself up. But I never changed. I was always not cleaning it often enough. So, in a perfect world, I would have, multiple litter box options for her that I scoop twice a day. But I knew that wasn't possible, at least right now, with where my mind was at. So I put a little money aside and I invested in an automatic cleaning litter box. And she was a little nervous about it at first, but now she is using it and using it just fine. And it's funny though, because now that I finally got her the automatic litter box, I do plan on in the future getting her a second litter box that is just a regular scoopable one. But I have to wait till I'm ready to take on that responsibility again and make sure that I will, actually be responsible with it this time. So yeah, that's an example of accommodating both mine and my cat's needs. She needed a clean litter box. I needed a lower maintenance cleaning option. So we met in the middle, and I dished out some money and got her a litter box that is clean every time she uses it. And I just have to, take out the bag at the bottom when it tells me to. And I do plan on taking apart the robot and cleaning the plastic parts on the outside, all the parts she and her waist touches once a month. And my last mindset change I want to talk about today, number 6, perfection is the enemy of being better. So we're only human. We're all human, and the majority of us are already trying our best. Like with Andy's litter box situation, it's hard to say whether or not I was really trying my best. I was not trying, and a lot of people are doing what they think is best for their pet, and maybe it's not best for their pet, even though they really believe it is, or they know they should be doing something different, but they just can't bring themselves to do it, which is like the situation I was in. So be forgiving of yourself. And if you feel overwhelmed when you realize the things that you need to change, if your cat is safe and healthy enough, or your pet in general, take it slow. You don't have to, you're never going to be a perfect pet owner. That's not the goal of this. But you can be a better pet owner. Everyone can be a better pet owner. There's always something that we can do to make their lives just a little bit happier. So instead of being overwhelmed and discouraged by the amount of things you could be doing better, just pick one and start with it, I made a lot of changes in Andy's life really quickly because I realized that a lot of the things that I needed to change were long overdue and were, as I said, really negatively impacting her quality of life. So when I came to my breaking point, it was like, I've got to do something. I went rapid fire. But now that we've got, the main issues that were affecting her health out of the way, I'm going to continue making positive changes in her life, and I'm going to do them little by little, which is also usually better for your animal. Cats usually do not like change, and she was a little hesitant to some of the things I changed in her life. It can actually be beneficial for both you and your pet to start little by little, and you're more likely to stick with your new habits if that's what you're changing. If you just do one thing at a time and get used to doing that thing before you throw another thing in the mix. And then don't let the fact that you cannot do it all be the reason that you do none of it. Maybe your cat or dog or any other animal, maybe you've realized that you are subjecting them to really poor living conditions. And this is, again, really hard thing to come to terms with. And so you realize, I need to be feeding them better. I need to be cleaning up after them better. I need to be maintaining their hygiene better. I need to be maintaining their health better. And you realize, oh my God, I have to do all these things. You get overwhelmed and you're like, they're fine. I can't commit to all those things, so I'm actually just not going to do any of it. That's not what you should be doing. So yeah, even if your pet is in dire need of change, pick the easiest thing for you to change first. Or if they are, if it's really bad, then pick the most immediately, life-changing thing for them. And for me, that was the self-cleaning litter box. So that was the first change I made in her life. And good thing I did that one first, because that was the one she had the hardest time adapting to. So I think when she opened up to that, she was like, I can do anything. So yeah, those are my 6 mindset changes you can make today or over time to make you a better pet owner. Platinum rule over golden rule. Being wrong about something isn't a failure. It's an opportunity to do better. Don't just love your pet. Love all pets, or all, cats, if that's what you're into, like me. Can you not afford it, or are you just not prioritizing it? Find what works for you and your pet, and perfection is the enemy of being better. So I'm just, I'm not a pet expert. I'm not a cat expert. I'm just an amateur cat owner. I don't know if you consider me amateur. I've had her for 4 years, but she is my first cat. That's mine. So these are just some things that I've changed about the way I think about my animal that have made it easier for me to then make positive changes in her life. So thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below, and I'll see you guys next time.